Hello again and welcome to another Mordian Glory Warhammer 40k video. In today's episode, I want to take you through step by step my new 2,000 point competitive Imperial Guard army list. This force has been designed to take advantage of the new Munitorum Field Manual points. We are taking some units which I have never included in a serious competitive list before. In fact, because of a certain unit that is being spammed in this army, I have decided to call this list It's Vanking Time. And so without further ado, let's not mess around any further. Let's fix bayonets and charge right into today's episode. Let's begin with an overview of which units we've got in this army. And of course, we will start with the Infantry Corps. Every day in the Corps is like a day on the farm. Every meal a banquet, every paycheck a fortune, every formation a parade. I love the Corps. And of course, we have taken one of my favourite little infantry combos, two 20-man blobs of Cadians loaded up with all of them flamers, and Iron Hand Straken himself will be leading the force. Straken is my favourite guard character that you can take at the moment. He's just an absolute beast. Not only is he like a Space Marine captain in combat, but which may not sound like a lot, but in the guard it's a pretty big deal. But also he can do 2 orders. For 55 points at the time of recording, he's an absolute steal. He is an officer that can do 2 orders, and that alone would be reason to take him. But his combat prowess is often enough, just enough to cover your close combat needs. Guard doesn't tend to do a lot of combat, so sometimes you just need a little sprinkling of it for when you have to fix bayonets. So Straken, he goes in one of these Cadian units, and then what I tend to do is keep the 2 Cadian units fairly close together, and that way he can order them around. So that's 2 orders for 2 units. Big fan of Cadians at the moment. I would actually label them as my favourite infantry choice, and that is because they can scout, and Straken is scout as well. So unlike a lot of other leaders, when he actually joins the Cadians, they can still do their 6-inch scout move. The idea behind these blobs is to have an initial wave that can push forward and start contesting, if not taking, those mid-board objectives, start locking them down, as well as being very effective at screening out deep strikers. There are a lot of armies out there at the moment which they love the deep strike. They love the deep strike, and you've got Grey Knight, and then you've got Necron, Hypercrypt. There's all sorts of armies which can teleport, they can go up and down, and having just an initial wave that can push out a bit faster than expected, can start screening out the enemy, and for a very reasonable price point. Each one of these blobs is only 110 points, and Straken's only 55, so we're looking at 275 points for 40 infantry with scout move, with orders. That's a good deal. It's a damn good deal, sir. Now, this might be the first wave, but going in with the second wave, we have 2 more infantry blobs. And controversial choice here, I have taken Cadians over taking something like Death Corps of Krieg. Now, that's a little controversial just because I did do a video recently where I said Cadians were one of the less good battle line options. But the reason I went for these is because there's a bit of a theme with the army, which is we're taking quantity. Quantity is a quality all of its own. And also, I wanted a unit that Creed could join. So I've taken Creed, and he is going in a big unit of Cadians. Both units of these Cadians are identical. They've got double plasma, double melter, and we've got double Vox casting as well. And each sergeant is rocking around with a Laspistol and Chainsword. Yes, you can get the autoguns and everything. I don't have the autogun models, and I have to say, I have rarely found having a couple of extra Las gunshots really is going to swing the game in any meaningful way. So we've got a couple, so I just don't worry about it. So we've got a couple of those Cadian blobs. Creed is going to join one of them, because again, we've got 2 units here, and we've got 2 orders, and I'm trying to have as many orders as possible for these units. Interestingly though, Creed doesn't tend to do his orders to these infantry in the early stages of the battle. As you'll see with the rest of the army, Creed's orders tend to go on to some other units that we've got. Now, I have also taken a Commissar. This is definitely, at least on paper, a suboptimal choice, but I wanted to try it out. So Commissars, they don't see a lot of play because they're only 30 points, but they have very limited order capability. They can only do fixed bayonets or duty and honor. And really the main orders that you're looking for in your guard blobs is going to be things like move, and also take aim. Now I've taken the Commissar because I just want to give him a run out. And I have been encountering more armies that have been leaning into battle shock. I don't know if it's just coincidence, but there seems to be, not every game, but every tournament, 1 in 3 games, there's a unit out there which can cause battle shock. And that can be a big issue because what I want to do with these infantry is bring them back. And if someone hits me with a unit and then I fail my battle shock test, and then I can't, and then they wipe that unit out, I can't use reinforcements. So I figured, look, it's 30 points. It's a very, very cool model. It's one of my favorite Commissar models. It's a very, very cool unit. And I had 30 points left over at the end of the list. And I really wasn't sure what else I wanted to put in there, considering the other units I wanted to try out. So I thought, you know what? We'll use those 30 points as an excuse to try out the Commissar. Now, a little spoiler alert. I actually have used this Commissar at the tournament already. And he actually did quite well. It was actually quite nice having that sort of that aura of, no, I'm not going to fail battle shock, thank you very much. So yeah, I might be changing my opinions on Commissars somewhat. They're not an auto-include in any way, shape or form, but they're also not as tragically bad as you might think. They have some use and they're cheap enough where you can take one as a just in case. Now that covers all of the line infantry. Let's head over to the support infantry. And we have got the Lord Solar command blob. You know it, you love it. It allows your Lord Solar to do his orders out to 24-inch range. Mine consists of a Cadian unit, a Platoon Command squad, and the Lord Solar. Great tactical flexibility, allowing the Lord Solar to do orders at a much greater range. And because you can order any unit in the Astra Militarum, it means that even those units which you wouldn't normally be able to order or wouldn't even consider ordering have some support if and when they need it. We've then got our indirect fire in the list because I don't like leaving home without any indirect fire, without any artillery. And we're dialing it back to 9th edition, going with the classic mortar pit. So we've got 3 heavy weapon squads here, every single one of them with a mortar. Now, it's no secret that the Guard Artillery Corps has taken a bit of a beating recently. Manticore's up in points again, Baz is up in points again, everything's got in points. But the one thing which hasn't changed since the beginning of the edition, as far as I'm aware, is the humble heavy weapon squad with mortars. These were a staple in 9th edition and were one of the best artillery pieces you could get just because of how cheap and efficient they were. And they never really lost that. They kind of just got overshadowed by other options in 10th. So we're going to try them out again, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to stack on lots and lots of lethal hits. In my experience, they have been able to get about 3 lethal hits per squad. And with some of the other units that are in here, like Creed, who can give free fields of fire out, and we've also, as you'll see in a moment, we've got some Hellhounds, which can help ignore cover. We do have actually a lot of ways of getting these up to doing meaningful damage and not just bouncing off people's 2+ and 3+ armor saves. And our last infantry choice is the goodest of boys, a big squad of Ogres. Mama always said go protect the little ones. These guys are coming along for potato skins and glory, and because they love the Emperor, and also because Borgrins have gone up in points. So Borgrins are more expensive, and these guys have stayed the same, and it's only 130 points for 6 of them. Now, yeah, they have absolutely no durability whatsoever. They've got toughness 6, like, ooh, interesting, and then a 5+ save and a 6-up feel no pain. But sometimes the best defense is a good offense. And in rapid fire range, and they do have rapid fire, this squad can put out 36 shots. Strength 5, if it's the nearest unit, AP -2, 2 damage. That's a lot of heavy bolter shots. And it's a lot of potential to just stack up flat damage to weapons. And bear in mind, they can be ordered by the Lord Solar. Now, they're not going to be his priority for orders. As you'll see, there's other units that definitely need that. But it's a good thing to have. And again, there's a bit more combat punch in this army between these guys, which I do consider them primarily a shooting unit with a bit of combat. But hey, at the end of the day, they also get 4 strength, 6, 8, -1 attacks in combat as well. So between their point-blank volley of Ripper gun shots and then a good charge, they might be able to punch up a little bit and do some damage. I'm expecting them to go in, do a little bit of damage and then die, but that's okay because they're cheap. And if they are distracting the enemy, then they're kind of like a distraction Ogrin. You know, the enemy won't want to be on the receiving end of that many heavy bolter shots every turn, but it'll take more than a few cursory small arms to get rid of them. Yeah, I think Ogrins now firmly fit into the distraction card effects role, and I'm perfectly okay with that. At least it gives them something they can do, and that it's meaningful and impactful in your games. Now that covers all of the infantry. Let's look at some vehicles. And whilst we're over here, we might as well look at some support vehicles. And we have put 2 Cyclops demolition vehicles into this list. They're not really demolition vehicles though. I like to call them Cyclops deployed teleporter Homer vehicles because that's really why they're in there. 25 points each. Put them in strategic reserve. Wait until whatever turn you need to. Turn 2, turn 3. And then just trundle them on. And hope that you get some behind enemy lines, deploy teleport homers, or some investigate signals. Honestly, these are the best way of scoring secondaries in Guard right now. Scions are very good, but 1 squad of Scions is the same as 2 Cyclopses. And Gaunt's Ghost is very good as well, but they're 100 points, whereas it's only 50. So again, quantity has a quality of its own, taking the cheaper options, going for that overwhelming numbers. Taking these allows me to save points, get more stuff, while still being able to look after my secondaries. But I know what you're all really here for. I know the Guard community, and you guys love, and I mean love, tanks. And we are bringing 6 tanks in this list. And we've got some very, very spicy choices today. Beginning with the burn, we've got 3 Hellhounds. Now, I have not been kind to the Hellhound in the past. I've always said it's a tank that struggles, and it's a tank that is never really very good and doesn't do very much. But I am going to have to eat those words because I've been trying some Hellhounds out, and they've been really good. So I always thought that Hellhounds with their Inferno cannons on top, and each one of these has got Inferno Cannon Heavy Flamer. Now, I always thought that Hellhound Inferno Cannons were only AP 1. It turns out they're AP -2. And that is a whole of the ball game. Because that actually allows them to threaten some relatively drawable targets. Things like Terminators, which you don't want to be shooting at Terminators on like a 3-up save. You're not really going to do much. But kicking them down to a 4-up? Most light infantry won't get a save, because remember, they also ignore cover because they're flamers. So having 3 of them really allows me to start burning. They're also phenomenally cheap now at 115 points. Just chucking 3 of them in your list for 345 points is very, very good. And don't forget, Hellhounds have got a 2+ armor save now. Yeah, that's right. The vehicle with the exposed fuel tanks on the back has got a 2+ armor save. Lol, I say again, lol. So the idea with these is to push them forward, use them almost in a use them in a very aggressive manner, almost in a screening role. And if the enemy starts like charging them, I can overwatch. And if the enemy wants to try and tie them up, well, good luck with that, buddy. I'm going to start burning you. Also, weirdly, Hellhounds have a massive psychological effect on people. I can't tell you the number of times people have gone after my Hellhounds, even when there's not really been a threat against that particular person's army, just because they don't want to get burned by the Hellhound. Bit crazy, but it's something that myself and a lot of other Guard players have noticed, that people really, really worry about what the Hellhound can do to them. And to be fair, they are pretty good. 115 points, you can't let one run around for more than a couple of turns, otherwise the damage will start stacking up, I guess. But speaking of damage, let's get to the main stars of the show. The units which the list is named after the Leman Russ Vanquishers. Now, Vanquishers have for a long time been derided as one of the worst Leman Russ variants. There was a brief window in 9th edition when we had our codex and they could ignore invulnerable saves when they were spicy and they actually did some work. But at the beginning of 10th edition, they lost that ability to cut through invulnerable saves. And, well, a lot of people sort of dismissed them from that point, including yours truly. But they've come down to 145 points now. Now, 145 points for a Russ chassis is very, very powerful. If you didn't get the Vanquisher, if you just had the Lasgun, the plasma cannons, the heavy stubber, and the hunter killer, that might be enough already. But then getting the Vanquisher cannon on top is really, really nice. And the Vanquisher, look, if it hits and it wounds and it can hit on 2s, because if it stays still, it's got heavy, and then you have take aim, and those two things can stack up. So it can hit on 2s, and then it gets to wound. It gets an inbuilt reroll to wound because of its Vanquisher ability. That is against monster vehicles only, to be fair. And then it just has to get past an invulnerable save if the enemy has one. And sure, only taking one Vanquisher, you almost know, sod's law, the enemy's going to pass that 4 every single time. But taking 3 of them, maybe, just maybe, that is enough punch to start going through those big enemy units. And also, you've got a lot of armies out there which aren't taking invulnerable saves in their vehicles now. Space Marine Ironstorm Spearhead is an entire army that just consists of Predator and Predator-like chassis. 3-up save. And no invulnerable save. I'm sure even in cover they'll get a 6-up, but you know? Yeah. So I think that the taking 3 Vanquishers is going to be very powerful. Again, I've actually had a practice game with this, and it's been quite good. I've been to a tournament with this list, which obviously you'll see the after action report for this for that tournament coming out tomorrow after this video is posted. And I have to say that the Vanquishers did very well, and I am now unironically considering them to be my go-to Leman Russ choice. Because taking these allows me to get all the heavy armor I want in my list. And I am saving so many points over taking things like Demolishers. I'm saving 55 points per tank over a Demolisher. That adds up to almost, if not, an entirely extra tank. So yeah, I'm Team Vanquisher all the way now. And I definitely recommend you guys check out the after action report that comes out tomorrow. Because you are going to love some of the things that these guys managed to pull off in that tournament. But that just about covers it all. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. What do you think of this list? How would you change it or tweak it or improve it to try and squeeze even more out of these interesting new choices that we've got thanks to the Militarum Field Manual? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian Glory Hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Bon Vert, Mad Larkin, Marcus Roberts, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.